When I was 11, my mom pushed me out of a moving car and the paramedics had to bring me back to life. 10 years later, I was the one to apologize to her. Growing up, I barely saw my dad, but my mom made up for it by always being there for me. Every Halloween, she stayed up until 2 a.m. hand sewing my costumes because we couldn't afford store-bought ones. So when I turned 11, I expected to get my usual gift of homemade pizza. Instead, she woke me up screaming in my ear. "We're going to Disneyland," she exclaimed, carrying me to the car where my dad was waiting. I couldn't stop smiling. It was the happiest day of my life. But 3 hours in, everything changed, because that's when my dad pulled over to a gas station. "I want to get Tic Tacs," he said, and my mom got out of the car to go with him. I stayed in the car eating Doritos, watching them through the window. They walked around the side of the building where I couldn't see them. When they came back, something was different. Mom's face was pale. Her hands were shaking, but she smiled at me and said, "I'm gonna sit in the back with you, baby. Keep you company." Dad pulled back onto the highway. I didn't think anything was wrong at first, because Britney Spears was on the radio and I was so excited. But when I glanced over at my mom, her heart was beating out of her chest. I looked up at her face and saw tears streaming down her cheeks. "Mom, what's wrong?" She just held me tighter and whispered, "I love you so much. Remember that, always." Before I could say anything back, she yanked the door handle and shoved me out of the car. Bang! I hit the pavement headfirst. Tires screeched around me and I could hear my dad screaming. I died on that highway for 2 minutes and 37 seconds. The paramedics brought me back, but none of that was even the worst part, because my heart was broken. My mom, my best friend, had just tried to kill me out of nowhere. My dad helped me press charges, but my mom was never put in prison, because she was known for being such a kind person by everyone who knew her. So the judge deemed her as clinically insane, and she was sent to rot away in a psychiatric facility. I went to live with Dad, and I spent the next 10 years believing my mother tried to kill me. I never visited her, never answered her letters. When I moved away to college and anyone asked where my mom was, I lied and said she was dead. Dad tried to replace her with new girlfriends over and over, but they never lasted more than 6 months. And after his 10th girlfriend, I accepted that I would never have two parents ever again. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months, months turned into years. 10 years later, my dad died from a sudden heart attack. I'd officially lost both parents. And at age 21, I was already an orphan. Dad didn't have many friends, but I tried to plan a small funeral. I was standing at the back of the funeral home when the door opened. My whole body went cold. It was my mom. First time I'd seen her in 10 years. She looked older, grayer, smaller. After everyone left, we were alone. I was about to walk out when she spoke. "I know you hate me, but now that your dad's dead, I can finally tell you the truth." I stopped. "The truth about what?" She answered, "About what happened at that gas station." My jaw tightened. "I know what happened. You had a psychotic break. You tried to kill me. That's what your dad told you." Her voice cracked. "That's what he told everyone." I went silent as she continued. "At the gas station, when we went around the corner and no one could see us, your dad's entire demeanor changed. He looked me in the eyes and said we weren't going to Disneyland." My eyes widened. "Then where were we going?" My mom continued, voice shaking. "He told me we were going to a cabin 3 hours away. No neighbors, no cell service, no one around for miles. And then he told me exactly what he was going to do to you when we got there. And it was bad, sweetheart. Really bad." My mom started crying. "He said if I screamed, he'd kill us both right there in the parking lot. The only way you would survive is if she got back in that car and acted normal. So I did the only thing I could and pushed you out of the car. I knew you might die," she said, tears streaming down her face. "But I knew what was waiting at that cabin would be worse than death." I sat there on that bench outside the funeral home, shaking. I thought about how much I'd hated her over the years, how I believed everything my dad ever told me. "I'm so sorry," I whispered. She just held me and cried. Now, every morning, I take my golden Labrador dog to my dad's grave and let him pee on it.